She is nameless. At least her name is not given or known. Her only identification is her calamity, her suffering, her being ritually unclean, her shame. Begin there, with a woman who had been suffering from hemorrhages for 12 years. If she had any money at all, it was all gone, spent on ineffectual doctors. She is poor, she is destitute, of no position in society. She is outcast, and she knows she is outcast, and if she forgets, she is reminded at every turn. She is all on her own and has no one to advocate for her. Still, and notably, she has faith. She has faith that if I but touch the hem, the edge of Jesus' cloak, I will be made well. In contrast, we are introduced in this same passage from Matthew's Gospel to a leader in the synagogue, a respected member of the community who enjoys high standing in society. He seemingly has no trouble at all gaining full access to Jesus in the midst of a tumultuous crowd, and has enough prestige to ask that Jesus come to his house to heal his daughter. Well, maybe it was prestige, or maybe it was just sure desperation and a father's love. But unlike the hemorrhaging woman, this man's daughter does have someone to advocate for her. Whereas the man approaches Jesus face to face and pleads with him, the woman approaches Jesus surreptitiously from behind, reaching out, hoping only to touch the very edge of his clothes. Whereas the woman is healed in the midst of the crowd and in a very public way, the daughter is healed in the privacy of a home from which Jesus intentionally sent away the gathered crowd. Go away, for the girl is not dead, but sleeping. Whereas the woman reaches out to touch Jesus, Jesus reaches out to touch the man's daughter. When the crowd had been put outside, he went in and took her by the hand, and the girl got up. What do these two seemingly unrelated persons and their stories have to do with each other? And why has Matthew sandwiched them together like this? Introducing us first to the man pleading for his daughter's healing, then to the woman who reaches out and touches the hem of Jesus' robe, only to return us to the devastated person. For in the intervening time, his daughter has died, leaving Jesus not with the task of simply healing her, but reviving her to life. From other Gospels, we know that this man's daughter was about 12 years old, the same number of years the poor woman had suffered. This is not insignificant, and it is meant to catch our attention. 12 years was too many to have suffered for the adult woman, too few to have lived for the young daughter. If the man and the woman have anything in common, it is that they are both desperate for their circumstances to be different from what they are, and the only way for that change to happen is Jesus. He is their last and best and only hope. I want to suggest that it is often helpful to approach the Gospels as if they were a sandwich shop. For this morning's lesson is neither the first nor the last passage in which the first evangelists interrupt themselves mid-story in order to insert a second, seemingly unrelated story into the middle of it, only to return to the original character or story, sandwiching them together and building a kind of literary, theological hoagie. Read the New Testament with a delicatessen eye, and you will find more than a handful of these stories within stories. And while they may be a literary device, they work to theological ends. The middle story nearly always provides the key to understanding the whole passage. In this morning's offering, the woman's faith forms the center of the sandwich and is the key to its interpretation. Through her, Matthew shows how faith in Jesus can transform fear and despair into hope and salvation. It is a powerful lesson, meant not only for the daughter's father, who bore witness to this woman's faith, but for all who have ever read the gospel, including us. Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. Go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. For I have come to call not the righteous, but sinners. By inserting the story of the woman into the story of the man and his daughter, Matthew sandwiches the power of faith in between the two slices of discipleship and witness. The woman's interruption is, at first sight, not at all to the man's advantage. For in the intervening time, his daughter has died before Jesus could reach his house. With that devastating announcement, his hope falters. Surely his servants are right. Why trouble the teacher any further? She is dead. She's gone. It is as though Matthew were asking his readers, is there any hope for the man now? What kind of belief must he have in such an unthinkable situation in which all human hope seems to have been extinguished? And here we get a taste of the theological reason for today's sandwich. The man, the religious leader, must have the kind of faith that the outcast woman has. Jesus' words to the woman apply also to the religious leader. Take heart, daughter. Your faith has made you well. She trusts. She believes. She has faith. She reaches out. And she is healed. Instantly, we are told. Likewise, we hear the word suddenly more than once in this passage, and hear echoes of both words, suddenly, instantly, not only in how the little girl rises from her deathbed, but also in how the tax collector leaves his table to follow Jesus. Follow me, the Lord Christ says to Matthew. And he got up and followed him. Immediacy, discipleship, faith, certainty, belief. Go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. My friends, this gospel passage undoes me. Not only the profound faith of the woman who had suffered for 12 years, but her desperation, not only her crawling through the crowd to grab on to Jesus, but the man, the religious leader, falling to his feet before Jesus, begging him to heal his daughter. Not only how Jesus endearingly calls the older woman daughter, welcoming her into his family, but also how he speaks to the man's daughter as if she were his own child. In other gospel accounts, we hear that he took her by the hand and said to her, Talitha komi, which in Aramaic is an endearment, not simply little girl, get up, but something more like, my little lamb, get up. Something that would be spoken fondly by a parent to a beloved child. And not only the way in which he speaks so tenderly to the girl, but also in his concern for her once she is revived. He told them, give her something to eat. How can we not find hope in this passage? And how Matthew instantly says yes to Jesus, and how Jesus says yes without hesitation to both the religious leader and the woman in their time of desolation, and how Jesus is concerned about our spiritual health as well as our physical well-being, and how Jesus is willing to reach out and touch us, or to be touched, whatever our individual concerns may be, and how both stories reveal Jesus' extreme mercy and love and compassion, and how that love is immediate, tender, real, generous, responsive, magnificent, and victorious. If this passage is a sandwich, well, then it is made with manna, with bread from heaven, come down to love and heal and make whole. Bread that we are also meant to become. For this passage from Matthew's Gospel, in which the faith of one unnamed woman illuminates not only the raising of the religious leader's daughter, but also the immediacy and constancy of the incarnate word of truth and love, is not only good news, it is also a call to discipleship, of following the one who reaches out eternally, the one who stretched out his arms of love on the hard wood of the cross, that everyone might come within reach of his saving embrace, as one of our collects at evening prayer puts it. So clothe us in your spirit, that prayer continues, that we, reaching forth our hands in love, may bring those who do not know you to the knowledge and love of you, for the honor of your name. Just as the religious leader comes to understand something about the power of faith through the witness and testimony of the unnamed woman who reached out to touch Jesus, so too are we meant to learn and to practice that very same gesture. Faith and discipleship are made visible in the twin gestures that enliven these two interwoven stories sandwiched together, in reaching out to Jesus and Jesus reaching out to us. And if we need a little help with figuring out exactly what shape that takes in our lives here and now, well, the Gospel according to Diana Ross can show us the way. Just reach out and touch somebody's hand. Just try. Take a little time out of your busy day to give encouragement to someone who's lost the way. Or would I be talking to a stone if I asked you to share a problem that's not your own? If you see an old friend on the street and he's down, remember, his shoes could fit your feet. We can change things. We can change things if we start giving. We can change things if we just reach out to Jesus and to each other. We can change things if we just reach out and touch someone's hand, and make this world a better place if we can. Amen.